Hello folks, I hope you can see me and hear me clearly. I'm getting a call just now. Subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, hit a like on the video. Hey, subscribe and follow the channel. We're going to discuss mock CATs today. Before we get there, we have a fabulous offer on our CAT courses, 4,000 off. It's a wonderful course. Every single element of the course is something that you can try out. Quant, VRC, LRDI, mock, test dojo, drill, the NCRT, simple math bar. Every single component you can try out and check out and verify. So it's a giant sections of the course you can check out without paying a dime. So take out the time, check out the course. If you have any queries, there are multiple platforms to reach out on. Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube community. You can ping us on any of these fora and we'll be able to clarify whatever doubts you have. I hope you've had your coffee and water and all of that. Audio video is fine. Ashirvad Lima says audio video is good. Thank you. All good. Audio video good. Thank you. Thanks General Patel, Vignesh, K.S. Anand, Mohan, all good. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to wait for maybe a minute for the others to jump in, for us to just settle down, and then we'll jump in. We're going to do it in two parts. I'm going to rattle off some of the standard things on mocks. What are the things to keep in mind? When should you take your mock? How should you analyze the course? What are the phases of preparing for this exam? What should you keep in mind during different times? How you should plan your mock schedule? All of that. And then we'll do a Q&A. So hang on to your questions for at least the first 25 minutes. Don't blitz them off here. I won't be seeing the chat window for the first 20-25 minutes. After that, we'll settle in for another second half. Whatever time we take to do this, we'll do at least that much for Q&A. I'm going to do this at a rapid clip. There's a prepared presentation. Many thanks for Bharat and Subhash for putting this together. It is exciting. It is useful. It's a wonderful prop to talk about mocks. Lovely. I hope all of you are preparing well and hard. I'm going to share some of the things that we are seeing this year on our CAT platform. We look at a dashboard and numbers and all that. Our traffic numbers are a smidgen down from last year. I think several people are finding work from home and Zoom tough. And actually I find that our several metrics of people spending time learning are all a little bit down from last year, which I'm annoyed with, which basically is telling us that, hey, everybody's having a tough time of it. I can understand that. I shouldn't have said I'm annoyed with it. I'm a little upset by it, not annoyed. Annoyed is the wrong word. And so people are all struggling to keep their jobs. People are struggling with health. People are struggling with health of near and dear. We're all doing that little bit more to just stay afloat. Therefore, it becomes that little bit tougher to do something new. And so I can understand that. I can see why several of these metrics are either volatile this year or a little worse for the wear compared to usual trend. And so, but those of you who are preparing, keep this in mind that we've got 4 months to go. Throw everything into it. And your August, September, October, November is going to determine giant portions of where you can possibly be headed this year. By this year, I mean CAT 2021, next year really, for your MBA. MBA from a good college makes a world of difference. A good peer group, good set of students to study with, a good set of people to hang out with, to learn from, makes a huge difference, makes a humongous difference. So I suspect the test takers, the competition is probably going to be slightly lesser this year, but grab onto the opportunity, prepare well, prepare into long hours, deep into the night, early in the morning, all kinds of stuff. Next 4 months could shape up really where you're headed. So throw every little ounce into it. It will matter. It does matter. And so don't get into this trap of what are my chances? The game is rigged. वैसे भी मेरे को कुछ मेरा 10th standard का score कम है. With my experience, I cannot get a good college. With so much years, I cannot get a good summer internship. With my job, I'm not able to prepare. There are several reasons you will find for not doing this thing. I can tell you that doing this thing is fabulous and useful. It can, if the outcomes go well, it can really shape your career. It can take you places. That I know. I can tell you in all honesty that if you get into a good B school, it changes the way you think about simple metrics. So it is huge on that. If you don't make it to a great B school and you're going to continue on with your life, just the act of preparing for CAT for 4 months will shape how you think about several things. You get on to listen to a bunch of combinatorics class, or permutation, combination, and geometry class that on the platform. You read Bharat's reading list every day. I bet my bottom dollar. Come November 28th, you'll go into the exam 28th or 29th or 30th, whatever the date is. You'll go into the exam all saying, hey, I'm giving it a shot, but I'm already in a much better place than I was 4 months ago. So have that attitude. Wonderful. Once again, I'm going to say I have a prepared script part of it for about 20-25 minutes. I think we've done enough time for everybody to settle in. I'm going to run off this 20-25 minutes part quickly enough. Then we will have 25 minutes for Q&A. And so hang on to your questions. I know you're all bursting at the seams to fire away a bunch of questions. I will try to answer most of them to the best of my ability, of course. But hang on to them. Don't fire them away right now. Good chance that we will answer most of them right away. Right? Before we go into mock CATs, there are 3 phases of preparation for CAT. One is to learn from fundamentals, other is practice, the third is mocks. And so 3 phases really. Learning from absolute basics, learning the idea for the sake of the idea, learning a concept where it sits in your mind, where you've digested the funda. That is super crucial. And so spend time doing this, do not bypass that. Then comes the practice end, which is super important for a competitive exam. For learning well, the learning part is good, but if you're actually, the context is that of an exam, you have to go and take it. Your hand should be moving without your mind really getting out of bed. If you're solving x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0, you should be saying, okay, 2, 3. You should not be saying, now let me split the middle term and then see where it goes. That part of mechanics of doing this should be super automatic. My favorite analogy is that of driving a car. If you've driven for 300 kilometers, then your hand moves to the gear, your leg moves from accelerator, brake, clutch automatically. Your mind is not really processing that. So you can look here and there and chat with somebody and do. So your CAT process should be like that. About 70% of the processes should be automated. That comes from this, and those are super important. The third part is really the big deal, where you take all of the moving parts and see the big picture and say, hey, okay, I'm prepared. I know my fundas. I'm reasonably quick. I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. Let me try out the real big deal, the mock. Fine. So this is what we're going to focus on today. But these are the 3 phases you should be thinking about. Till CAT and beyond, you'll probably be thinking about all 3 phases. Don't say I've done everything, now I'm going to take mocks. Even when you're taking mocks, you'll have to learn and practice. Keep that in mind. When to begin? May, not even August. So if you've taken mocks already, good. If you have not taken mocks on this weekend, on Friday, you have Saturday and Sunday, write it down somewhere straight away. I'm taking a mock this weekend. So start now. You cannot afford to say I will finish everything and then start taking mocks. It simply doesn't work. You must start taking mocks now, not later, not a little later, not tomorrow. But ये खत्म कर लेता हूँ. वो TV series में बस 2 episodes बचे हैं. None of that stuff. Mocks are the real deal. If of the 3 things, if you don't do only one, it should be mocks. If you're saying, look, I don't have time at all. I have about 30 hours to prepare for this exam, nothing more. Take 5 mocks, analyze them, you have a shot. You give yourself a chance. So if nothing else, take mocks. It's a super mantra. So definitely take mocks now. Ideal number of mocks, 25 to 30. And so that's a good ballpark. That's a number you should be aiming for. Very much doable. If you start now, if you've not taken any mocks thus far, you can still take 25 to 30 mocks. Schedule for mocks, August 6 to 8, September 8, October 8, and November 4 to 6. But this is a broad ballpark. If you feel you're not ready, you can say August is 4 to 6, September is 6 to 8, October is 10, November is 6 to 8. You can shift the numbers a little bit. But you need to have a certain discipline to your mocks. You need to have a certain schedule to your mocks. Certain part of your mock taking that is not negotiable. You've got to say every Sunday I'm taking a mock. And I will squeeze in one more whenever time permits. You should have some very rigorous, discipline-driven thing for your mock from day one. That part is not negotiable. Monday, I could have a fabulous group of friends of mine who are watching a movie. They're all calling me over and saying they'll pay for me and then give me a special treat and be like, dude, it's good, but I'll do Saturday or Monday. Sunday, I'm not coming second half. Right? So maintain that discipline. It's a silly 4 months. You can put stuff on hold for 4 months in order to give yourself a chance. Syllabus completion and mocks. I've seen this so many times. Right? So where people say, okay, I'm going to finish everything, I'll revise that, practice, do one more recap, and then start taking mocks. That way you can start taking mocks in August, all right, but August 2023. I took my first CAT in 2000. I've taken 10 of the last 12 CATs, 10 of the last 13, taken lots of CATs. If you ask me, have I completed syllabus? Every year I feel like I want to do that little bit more LRDI practice. I tell myself in July, August, LRDI, I'm not doing well, I'll read that. And I tell myself I'll read 2 novels in August, September to just amp up my reading speed and go through every single one of Bharat's list in the last 40 days. Usually do none of these, or I don't do at least 2 out of these 3. And it doesn't matter, I'm not writing this exam seriously, so don't take that as the benchmark. Fine, so, but you should remember that completing syllabus, the way we fantasize about completing syllabus, chances are it's not going to happen. All of us feel like there's some imperfection. And so, but let me tell you, that is basically the fear of the unknown, where you're saying, hey, I've not yet finished syllabus as a get-out clause to not take the mock. You don't need the syllabus. Take it from me. You look at CAT, 3 sections: VRC, Quant, LRDI. VRC, you don't need any syllabus. You can read, you can take VRC. LRDI, you don't need any syllabus. Anyone can take LRDI. Quant, if you've started at 0, you go look at a quant paper and you tell yourself, I have 3 hours. I'm telling you, there are 34 questions. You can attempt 10 to 12 of them. If you do some trial and error, poke around, do some simple equation writing, you can solve. That means out of 100 questions, give or take 75, you don't need any preparation for. So what is this thing holding you back? Is something in the mind which says, I'm not yet ready. Let me just finish the syllabus. Those are all the several good reasons to not take mock. Check all of them and then say, look, I'm jumping in, I'm going in. And you must take mocks. It helps you take stock of where you stand, and that is important. Know where you stand. And so don't worry about the scores. Scores will go up and down more frequently than up. Such is life. That is what the damn mocks are for. So to go through this ringer of going up and down and getting comfortable and with the low score and not getting out in the middle of the second section and saying, ye mock to gaya, that is what mocks are for. And so don't worry about the scores too much, but don't delay mock taking. I'm just having one look at the question to see if something is different has popped up. A good set of questions there, but hang on to them. Another 10 minutes and then we'll go to Q&A. 2 hours or 3 hours? God only knows. We don't know. I'm hand on heart, I can tell you that the guys probably who are setting this paper, they don't know whether it's going to be a 2-hour exam or a 3-hour exam. They probably have 2 versions with them right now that they're preparing for. So don't let one uncertain variable mess your mock. Don't tell yourself, I'll be 3 hours or 2 hours, I don't know. Let them decide, then I'll start taking mocks. There is every chance that we have a notification released now and a confirmation in August 20th saying, hey, it is going to be a 3-hour mock. And we have in the midst of some obscure beta kappa variant of this nonsense that's been going around for so long. And then suddenly it gets changed into a 2-hour variant on October 30th. It is possible. And so it is not cast in stone that it's going to be either this or this, notwithstanding what communication or their IMs say. They don't know. I'm not blaming them for anything, but there are certain variables that are way beyond all of our control. Don't govern your preparation on the basis of this weirdly uncertain variable. And so 2 hours or 3 hours, it doesn't matter. My gut feel is when they give the notification out now, they're going to say it's going to be a 3-hour exam. When you're taking mocks, if you take 7 3-hour mocks and 2 2-hour mocks, it's still 9 mocks. Obviously, you'll need to orient your game towards the most relevant thing whenever that information comes. But until then, a mock is a mock. It's going to pay off in terms of building your stamina, building your resilience, your levels of concentration, your temperamental soundness. All of those are independent of the idea of whether it's a 3-hour mock or 2-hour mock. And those are the crucial metrics. And so don't worry too much about this. In terms of phases, in terms of what you do in your mocks, and the first few mocks are for strategy. And this is a very beautiful big term. I think Subhash has put it in. You see, he likes the term strategy. And so I would put it slightly differently. The first few mocks are for poking around and getting beaten up. And so poking around is, do I want to do RC first or VA first? What kind of puzzles am I good at? Do I start with my strengths and then go for my weaknesses, have tickets in the bag, or finish one or two tricky ones and then with that confidence go and attack what I'm not good at? And so those kind of poking around, what you will do. What topics am I good at? What am I not good at? If I'm going, am I in the ballpark of getting 22 questions out of 34? Can I attempt that many? Do I have that speed? Validating that. That is in terms of poking around. In terms of getting beaten up is like one mandatory exercise. It's like a baptism. So you have to have you will have a few scores that completely humble you. Sometimes they destroy you. Sometimes they feel that they just take you and then put you in your place and say, dude, you thought you were the big daddy of geometry. I'll tell you what, you're not. And that happens to everyone, the best of us. It doesn't matter. You pick yourself up and then launch yourself at the next mark. And so the first 5-6 marks are for that, for the experience of looking at the big picture, for the idea of figuring out what you're good at, what is your play. Right? The next 6-7 marks are for consolidating your strategy. You'll still make tweaks. You'll still say, hey, I'm going to toss it out and try something completely new. But by this time, you have a sense of what to expect. When you get tired, when you start making fatigue errors, what kind of questions irritate you, what kind of things make you feel energized, how you pick yourself up after one section goes kaput. Once you've learned that, then this is to build consistency and kind of know what this is about. And so at the first 5-6 marks, you'll get dead tired. If you're not getting dead tired, then you're not going about it the right way. When taken so many CATs, at the end of a CAT, I finished the exam, the 2-hour exam or a 3-hour exam, I come staggering out. I'm tired. I'm on a high. I feel like, look, I've done something really intense and nice and I'm happy about it. Not the performance, but the fact that I've hung in there, but I'm tired. If you're not tired after doing a mock, then you're doing something very silly. You should be throwing every ounce of energy into that. Operating at close to peak concentration levels for almost the entire duration. If you're not doing that, then you're just wasting your time. And so this first 6 is to get that clarity. The next 6 is to build that stamina. And so when you used to train for sports, the coach used to say, look, dudes, you've all played a game, good. Now I'm telling you, if you're really fit and you really want to be up for it, I'll say now, give me 3 kilometers and you should be able to do it. You'll be able to say, just played a game, or I just put on the boots and run for 3 kilometers. We need that level of fitness. Right. If the coach says run 3 more kilometers, you just run. So the equivalent of that, if somebody says, hey, dude, now good, take a mock. And you should be like, yeah, I will take a mock this week. Up to Friday, Saturday, I'll take rest. I'll be really good Sunday morning. I usually have my nice preferred breakfast. 9:30 a.m. is a good time to start. I'll have my favorite pen and seat and chair. And then I will try till 12:30. Kabhi I'll stop at 12, but maybe I'll go till 12:30. No, you can't be that. The bar for taking mocks should be so low that you should be able to take a mock at the drop of a hat. That gets built in this space. And then you amp it up. When taking mocks doesn't tire you, when taking mocks is not such a big deal, when you know when to skip questions, what to select, what are you good at, what are you bad at, then you say, I'm going to find the last bits. I'm going to be freakishly consistent, remove all my silly errors, amp up my accuracy, and then be able to throw more energy into it after I built up stamina. Mocks are effectively 2 parts, writing the mock and analyzing it. And so several people do this because they want a count. And this month I took 7 mocks. How many of you analyzed? I analyzed 1 completely, and Pakistan I just saw what my performance was. That's just absurd. You spend 3 hours taking a mock, you should spend at least 3 hours analyzing it. Quite likely it is 6 hours. Right? Analysis has 3 gaps, three parts if you ask me. First one, to know how to amp up your question selection. What are the questions I shouldn't have been drawn into? Which are the ones that killed my score, my temperament, my performance, my feel-good factor? I'm going to nail 3 questions or 4 questions in each section that I will not be doing. I'm going to say, hey, this didn't work for me. That killed my score. I know I hate philosophy passages. Why did I read it in the mock? I don't read it when it comes in newspaper. Why am I doing this mistake? You berate yourself and improve your question selection. Why did I get drawn to trigonometry? I don't know my sine theta from my cosine theta. So why would I try that? I don't know it. Why did I try poking at that question? What made me think that After 6 months of preparation, I don't have an idea of cosine theta, but in that 3 hours, I feel like I'll be the genius who can crack it open. So you figure out those things very well and say, look, improve your question selection or question elimination. Super crucial. Second part is to fix learning gaps. Go through the solution of every question. First of all, of the stuff that you got wrong, then the stuff that you skipped, then the stuff that you got right. That's important. Then do the analysis part. Fine. So where am I spending time on? Am I spending time on the question that I get right or that I get wrong, or the ones that I skip? So very often the mock analysis gives this beautiful chart. Time spent on what you get right, time spent on what you get wrong, time spent on what you skipped. Usually very tellingly, it's about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 for many students when they're starting. That means you got all your marks or most of your marks in 1/3 of the time. Right? Saying most of the marks, which is wrong, more than your marks in 1/3 of the time. And then you spent 1/3 of the time digging a hole for yourself. And then 1/3 of the time that gave you nothing. And so your question selection, how much of a role it plays, comes up very tellingly from just that chart. If you spend 70% of your time in the question that you got right at the same hit rate or the same speed, your score is phenomenal. And so look at that chart. Those data points open your thoughts up. What am I good at? Where am I making my fatigue errors? Where am I spending my time on? How soon should I skip? Those things come. That is the third part of mock analysis. So fix the practice gap, fix the learning gap. That's the learning part of it. Find out how your question selection improves. Then do the thinking about how to handle your pressure, how to handle fatigue errors and all of that. Once again, reminder, very quick reminder, 4,000 rupees off on all our courses and all our flagship courses, the green comprehensive live. For the live courses, we are running at a run rate of 4 or 5 live classes every week. And these are wonderful classes. These are not your run of the mill. Do these questions and I'll give you the answers. Stand here and discuss question by question in detail. Super intense. I can tell you at the end of each of our live classes, I'm burnt out. I've been doing this for 8 years. But if I come and take a class, at the end of the 2 hours, I feel like I'm tired. So we throw a lot into each of our classes. At any point of time, you feel like this is all the stuff that you are saying. How do I know it is true? Fingers, sit through a class. We'll willingly give you a demo class where you sit and listen to what we've got to offer and see what this is about, and then you can take a decision after that. Speed versus accuracy, and one of those beautiful things that is showed as a balance. It is not. There is no trade-off. And several people think that's a super crucial metric where you can trade off between speed and accuracy. I'll tell you, you should say, I will be super quick at 100% accuracy. Don't coin this as a trade. It is inevitably a trade. It becomes that when you start coining it aggressively. There is no right speed for getting wrong answers, especially in quant and LRDI. When people tell me that in quant, I'm aiming for an accuracy of 80%. I'll be like, okay, which one out of 5 questions are you consciously getting wrong every time? You choose that. You say, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, 5th one, I'll find the answer and mark it wrong. Unless you do that, you're not aiming for an 80% accuracy. Don't kid yourself by saying, I'm hoping 80% of questions are right. That means you're either taking a punt or you're setting a bar that is not high enough on accuracy, especially in quant and LRDI. In VRC, I can still understand that you very strongly thought that the answer choice should have been C, marked it, but it turned out to be B because you picked something wrong. That's still all right. But if you clearly got the answer as 82, and 82 is not there in the choices, and you marked 84, that's not a calculated gamble, that's just foolhardy risk taking. And so, sometimes that is called for, but that's a very savvy, measured risk that you're taking. But it cannot be at a headline level where you say, look, I'm aiming for about 80% accuracy in quant and LRDI. In all honesty, students tell me this. Immediately I feel like saying, okay, yeah, so 1 out of 5 questions you're going to get wrong. Which is that? If you know that, then it helps. Mark all those wrong answers and then get everything right. Out of the system, your error rate is out. There is no reason you're going to solve, you're getting to the final answer, then you're going to mark the choice. Why should you factor in an error rate? Don't. It is very heavily psychological, very heavily a subconscious thing where you're settling for an error rate. You do quickly expecting some of your multiplication to be not right. You're doing it and you feel like your product is not right, it's not falling in place, multiply again. That extra 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, half a minute will still pay off. Don't rattle away, don't operate in a frenzy, don't go 20% higher than your natural speed for reading or solving or computing or figuring out constraints. It doesn't work. It just ends in a very random error rate variable, which has got nothing to do with this. It's not like the trade-off is very tangible. It's something that we keep telling yourself. So for me, the optimum accuracy rate is 100%. In quant and LRTI, it's always 100%. In VARC, suppose you attempt 30 questions, 3 or 4 could go wrong. Maybe you're taking a measured risk. I'm not really sure about between B and C, but I'm sure A and D are wrong. My gut says B. I'm going to go for it. That's all right. But not a random punt. When I say error rate, I don't care about type in the answers. You take a punt. You say 24, 24, 24 for all quant. Some B, C, D, E, A for sentence rearrangement. That doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that. Mock scores. Are your mock scores volatile? Join the club. Several of our students have gone to IIM, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, FMS. They'll all tell you that their mock scores were volatile. They should stabilize. If mock scores are volatile, that means that your error rate is out of whack. That means your speed is higher than your natural speed. You're reading too quickly. You're trying to solve too quickly. Dial it down. Read slowly. This should fall in place. Mock scores plateauing. That happens. Your improvement's never like this. Your improvement is you go up and you find a plateau. And you go up and you find a plateau. You have to figure out a new trick or consolidate your gains. This happens for everyone. It happens in everyone. Elite sportsmen, they talk about it. You have an improvement and then you find a plateau. That means one aspect of how you have improved, your body is yet to internalize. So it can't suddenly take new inputs. It internalizes, then the tweaks happen. If you tweak too quickly, it will crash. So you make some improvements, consolidate it. So if your scores were always at 80th percentile, but you hit 90th in 2 tests in a row, you tell yourself, look, now I need to be a 90th percentile guy. I should never again get an 80th percentile. Get 90, 91, 89, 3 tests. You know what the game is. Then you say, okay, I'm up to 90. Let me see if I can amp up to 94. Consolidate your gains. That's what happens in your plateaus. That's crucial, important, and most importantly, inevitable. Keep that in mind. How to break the barrier and improve? One thing is to consolidate the tweaks that you have made. Make sure that you're very sure that you will get a 92. And if you reach that point at any mock, any time, any provider, I'm confident of getting a 92. If I take a mock, I'm at 92. Sometimes it's 95, sometimes it's 97, but it's never below 92. That is important. So that consistency, that feeling of assurance, the feeling that, look, I have quant in the bag. I'm usually good at LRDI. Verbal, I'll be a little careful. I can go places. That is super important. So consolidating that gain is super important. Then we tweak. There is going to be a natural improvement in your mock scores when you take plenty of mocks. Your mind gets better and has more stamina, more intensity, more energy. It doesn't make silly errors automatically. Automatically, it will happen. The other part is where you make tweaks. The most important tweaks you have to make is the savvy, brainy part, where you say, I'll get better consciously in question selection. That is important. Without that, this is going to be a nightmare. You need to know where your marks are coming from. You need to know which ones you are not going to poke. And the best parallel I can find is in cricket. I followed cricket through the 90s, 2000s. Indian batsmen, when they were chasing, if you gave them 8 overs 60 runs to win, or 8 overs 50 runs to win, which is back then considered a tricky target. And they would always say every over you'll have to score 6. And so some 3 dot balls he'll try to hit. We would try to hit Wasim Akram, we'll try to hit Glenn McGrath, we'll try to hit Curtly Ambrose. These days they're super savvy. They'll be the number 8 batsman, your Deepak Chahars and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Out of the top 5 bowlers, they'll play out one guy. 46th over they'll play out for 3 singles. 47th over they'll tonk. Super savvy. They know where their runs are coming from. It's like a map. They've been trained and they know their range hitting, they know their poor bowler, they know their fifth bowler target. It is hit like a programmed thing for them now. It was never there. Tendulkar would plan a chase. Tendulkar would always want to hit Curtly Ambrose and Franklin Rose. I think it was Franklin Rose, maybe I'm getting the name wrong, or Merv Dillon. So the premier fast bowler in one-day internationals of all time, and the joke fifth bowler in a poor West Indian lineup. They all meant the same. That's because he could take on an Ambrose. He had loads of skill, and he knew that he had to score most of the runs. So he had several different variables. But don't think of getting marks across the board. You need to have this savvy part of your brain where you say, look, I'm going to pick and choose my targets. I love percentages, profit and loss, allegations, mixtures, ratios. I like them. I don't like coordinate geometry. I don't want any marks from trigonometry. That's fine. But chase these. Don't be very savvy about chasing the right parts. That's super important. Right? So that is going to be a critical driver that has got to get better and better and better through your mock taking journey. I'm pretty much done. As I said, we're just about at 9, so I'm going to look at the questions and have a crack at them. Fine. Selection of DALR sets in mock. This is from Amu Ghosh. There's a beautiful video that Bharat has done talking about question selection. We're going to do one more set of sessions on mock and paper analysis. We will talk about that as well, but go through that video. It's a fabulous video on how to select the right LRDI sets. How to read as I read, but I'm not able to understand and refer Google, and it is cumbersome, and I'm not able to understand it as a whole. Please advise. Get plenty of reading practice. That's important. Have the belief that you can understand most of the stuff. Also important. Read slowly. Super crucial. People who are a little unsure of their reading tend to read faster. Very counterintuitive. And so when I took my first CAT, I was a hardcore quant math guy, and I was not at all confident of my verbal ability. On the back of that, I would spend more time on verbal during the exam. You could shift time. We had an overall paper, not a section-wise time cutoff. And I would spend more time on verbal. And I found that I'm spending far less time reading than I usually do, because I used to read super quick. But I'm so worried that I'm not good enough that I try to read quick. And that generally ends up in a disastrous error rate. Back yourself. Read slowly. You don't understand a paragraph, chances are, if you read the second paragraph, you're in trouble anyway. Read that again, make your assumptions, and then go to the next paragraph. Sometimes the passage is so tough that you can't get it at all. Skip it. Find your marks elsewhere. But don't rush the reading part. That's the one mistake several people who are not comfortable with the ARC do year after year. Don't read too fast. Read slower. Attempt Rizwan Hitabala, attempt 22 questions and correct around 15 to 16 in each section. Where would this land me in terms of percentile? I'm not going to get into a percentile discussion. Focused. So whatever the mocks are telling you, that's an indicative percentile. Your error rate, you should be saying, if I'm attempting 22 questions, I get 21 or 20 right, especially in quant and LRDI, not 15, 16. Amp that up. Accuracy is good, but just score isn't high. That's all right. Hang on to accuracy. Hang on to accuracy like it means the whole world to you. Your scores will automatically go up because your mind is subconsciously processing lots of stuff. And you get better and better unwittingly. Even if you try to not get better, you will get better. And so time will play a role in going up. Don't let go of accuracy. That is super important. DLRs smell, how to, I don't understand that question. I'm not able to do much quant questions in the first hour of mock, but later on questions are doable. What to do in this? This is from Mansi. Again, this happens to everyone. This happens to a lot of people. Our brains, they seemingly work better outside the context. I'm saying seemingly, because very often we tell ourselves that, hey, out of the exam context, I'm knocking these down after seeing the solution, after seeing it for the second time. So you're seeing it for the first time, you've not got it. Next time I see, some other idea opens up. This time it's not like it's just out of mock, it's the second time. You've already seen it in the mock once. Your mind is now unconsciously processing it slightly differently. First time it didn't work. I'm going to try a different method. And so it is not necessarily that it's just a giant difference. There is a pressure angle to it. There is a kind of anxiety exam angle to it. No doubt about it. Practice tons of stuff. And in a mock, as in the exam, you'll have to amp up adrenaline and amp down the vague anxiety thing. It's easier said than done. Sometimes you can, with experience, you can find where your errors are going to come from, when they are going to come from. That the fact that you're getting tired, the fact that you read the paragraph, but you really did not register anything. That means your mind is saying, I'm shutting down for a while. And you can wake up your mind. You say, drink one glass of water and say, okay, I'm going to read this. I'm not letting my mind waver. Work. So when you see that you're not at your best, you need to find external cues. For me, what works? Looking into middle distance, coming back, refocuses. Taking a deep breath helps. Having a drink of water helps. Moving my body about and shifting about, that helps. So I do all of this to kind of restart, reboot my brain so that it gets amped up, and then it distances itself from the anxiety elements of it, and then comes back to the joy of looking at a question and solving it. Important. Rohan Chaudhary, solving quant after finishing the first two sections, quite exhausting. The questions that are normally doable are hard to get on with the pressure during the last hour. How to tackle that? Take a lot of mocks. You're automatically going to be geared for the third hour. Your mind has to get conditioned to 180 minutes of intense effort. It is not. You take 5 mocks, it will be. One of our students had the same issue. He had a fatigue issue, he had a stamina issue. Found a really ridiculous counterintuitive solution. He said, look, it's a 3-hour mock. Getting tired in the third hour. My mind is saying I'm close to the finish. I'm going to destroy that. But then next time I take a mock, I'm going to take 2 mocks back to back. So his first mock, he took for 3 hours. Second mock, obviously his score crashed. But then he stood up at the end of the 6 hours and said, look, I could sit and do this 6 hours at a stretch. I've never done anything like this in my life. But I've sat there for 6 hours. And then it almost like it took his mind and said, dude, you've done 6 hours. Don't kid me that you're going to get tired at 2 hours, 20 minutes. And it worked. It's a way to trick your mind into saying, look, you can't get tired. I've seen you do better than this. Or 6 hours is too long. Do a 3-hour mock followed by a 1-hour section test. Your mind is not saying, the end is so near, I'll just finish, scramble across, touch that line and I'm done. I can then relax. Your mind is saying, I need to finish this and then go attack that. So it stays amped up. It stays amped up. So you need to find a mechanism to tell your brain that, hey, you can't get tired. Deep breaths, looking out, restarting. Cricketers, apparently every time there's a bowling change or a session change, they keep mental cues. They take their guard again, they talk to each other, they count down something, they play music in their mind. So they do several things to start refocusing and tell their mind that, look, you're not tired. I know you can do better than this. So find that mechanism that works for you. Shubham Agarwal, when should we start mock? Now. Stop this video, start a mock. Kashish Alvina, how to get better at DILR? It's my weakest section. I'm not able to solve any of the sets in mocks. It kills my morale for quants too. Practice helps. Go through, sometimes the mocks that I've seen, several mocks, the DILR questions are outlandish. So difficult that they're dispiriting. CAT LR DI questions are tough, but none of those are impossible. So to get a sense of what is the level of difficulty, you must go through the previous year questions. CAT previous year questions are phenomenal. They're beautiful. LRDI questions are beautiful. Out of every, maybe the last 50 sets, maybe 3 or 4 are irritating, but 90% of them are fun to solve, are challenging to solve, are thrilling to see. So check them out. Where do you find them? Google previous year CAT papers. You'll come to the mothership where you get detailed solutions wonderfully done. 2IM, obviously. What is the ideal accuracy rate in verbal? Ideal accuracy rate, 100%. What should you settle for? Nothing less than 80%. Which questions to skip? How to spot them? I have simple rules. I hate some topics. I don't like some topics. I'm not a big fan of speed, time, distance. Skip them. I frequently don't like, I like mixtures and allegations. I like pipes and cisterns, but I don't like speed, time, distance. I don't like races. I don't like escalators. I don't like exponents. I like logarithm, but I don't like exponents. Some of these questions I skip, rule based. I'll come back to them in the second round. I don't like long questions. Question goes for 4 lines. I'll do it later. I have rules like that. I don't questions have more than 2 variables. Say X, Y, and Z, and big algebraic thing, something I have to solve where it becomes a perfect square, so it cannot be negative, all of that. Just processing 3 variables, my brain gets fried. Skip them. So I have a bunch of rules to skip. Form your own rules. Let's hang out in Chennai one day. What say? Drop in, my friend. think I went off somewhere else completely. I'm not able to find the last question that I've done. Why do I overanalyze my RC questions and flunk out easy ones? It happens. That comes from a slight lack of belief. You're not sure of marking your B, it'll go away. It'll go away. Back yourself. Say, if I feel it is B, I'll mark it. Then I'll go through the solution. Maybe it'll convince me, maybe it won't. But I'm not going to become flippant about this or volatile about this or ambiguous about this. I'm going to try it and then let the cards fall where they fall. I took last year mock, it really broke my confidence on my IQ. Is it really possible to get out? Oh, definitely. This is Vedant Chore. Definitely. I've had students bounce back from horrible scores. We get very, very respectable, more than 95. And so don't care about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bad scores. Don't worry about that. Back yourself. The last lap, especially last month, belief is way more important than anything else. Pratik Srivastava, for QA during mock, I'm not able to properly understand the question due to pressure. But the same question I can understand. We just answered this question just now. And it could be fatigue. It's most likely fatigue, especially if it is quant. Sometimes it is not such a big thing, but we are saying that we don't get it in mocks. Switch off and switch on, refocus, it should fall in place. 10, 9, 9.5, general engineering mail, top 7 IMs, 99.7 is what you're looking for. This is Devadatt. Not comfortable with the historic and political jargons in RC, you skip those. If you're very clear about what you're not comfortable with, that's massively useful. If you're not comfortable with one type of question, skip them. This is the Byang Sungo. सर जी पढ़ाई नहीं कर जा रही, निर्मल दानी फोकस कर लो यार अपना, कहाँ पर काम कर रहे हो उसके बारे में सोचो कि 10 साल बाद यही कर रहा हूँ, मोटिवेशन ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाएगी. How to select sets in DILR. This is Abhishek Anand. Wonderful video from Bharat is there. Check that out. Sir, I went blank in the LRDA section even though I knew how to solve 4 out of 5 sets. How to overcome such stress after failing to solve the first one. Practice. I don't think this happens to everyone. Very good that it probably happened now in a mock. Mocks help you. There will be times in mock where you feel like the second section is so bad that I don't even feel like taking quant. Your mind is telling you that SABM overall percentile will be bad. It will be dispiriting. I know this mock score is not going to be what I want to get. Why do I even need to take the third section? You should pick yourself up and say, I'm going to attack the third section, destroy it, and tell myself that after being decimated in LRDI, I still got 98 percentile in quant, and that is what I am about. Mocks are for that, not for. So you have to fight that voice which keeps saying, give up on this. Ye to nahi hone wala hai. So check this out. Why are you spending another extra wasted hour? That extra wasted hour of hanging in there, desperately fighting back, super important. So if you get something wrong, check it, throw it away. The best example is Virendra Sehwag, as ever. And so Virendra Sehwag, again, as I said, I watched a lot of cricket in 80s and 90s. So you could see an Indian batsman, if he plays and misses, or if he, God forbid, edges and there's a dropped catch. Indian batsman के बंदे में mind में ऐसा रहेगा कि उस बेचारे ने catch drop कर दी. I'm hanging here just out of luck. Poor bowler, he is bowled. He'll feel obligated to get out. They're not the guy who's saying, अब तो मैं लेके रहूँगा और 150 बनाऊँगा उसकी तो लग गई. They won't think like that. They'll feel like, oh, I'm not playing well. I'm feeling it. I had a dropped catch as well. पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है. They'll talk themselves into getting out. Sehwag, not that. He'll get beaten, and then hit 3 boundaries. He has no memory of what happened before. See ball, hit ball. Each ball is a new story. So you need to pick elements like that and say, look, first question goes out. Yeah, everybody would have flunked it. Second one, I'll jump in. Samyuk Shrikant, I'm a non-math student. Tips to plan my schedule in 4 months. So first of all, don't set the bar low just because you're a non-math. Because you have to tell yourself that math students have done 3 more years of math. Big deal. Big deal. Big freaking deal. I don't care. The math that is being tested is 8th standard, 9th standard math. I've done that. I'm going to prepare and I'm going to beat most of them. There are going to be 10, 15, 20, 25, 100, 200 math geniuses that I simply can't catch up with. But I know that in our country, there are not 20,000 math geniuses. ऐसा नहीं है कि question देखे ही bunch of guys tell the answer. They are there and hats off to them. They have something wired slightly differently in their brains. They are good. They are gifted. We need them. But they are not the majority. They are not an overwhelming number. I can still compete. Don't tell yourself that the bar is lower because you are a non-math student. How would you suggest handling pressure during a mock? As due to the constraints, I'm going wrong on known questions. Take a deep breath. Take it like you should have a sense of joy in doing something super intensely. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. Suppose you are in a, I've seen some of these videos. There's this roadside dhaba guy who's making dosas at a frenetic pace or doing bel puri at a lightning rock star pace. He's doing the, then it's just that, and you look at that and you go, wow, why are we so happy to see somebody operating at peak efficiency? Because there's a part of our mind that automatically chases excellence, appreciates it, and says, look, it's something simple. It's like doing one pulka, and you go to a restaurant and this guy is effortlessly making pulka. He's making one Manchurian by throwing it and doing it. He's in the task, and that makes us go, yeah, he's fully focused on it. You should tell yourself, this is what my chance to be fully into an experience for 3 hours. Where you say, look, I'm going to be consumed and super intense, that I won't know what's happening around me. And that's going to, in and of itself, be a joyful thing. Gear yourself up like that during the exam. Then the part of the brain which has to tell you, yaar, ye pressure hai, pata nahi kya hone wala hai, your career is at stake, that just gets shut down. So you have to revel and enjoy that experience in order to shut down this mind voice. How much do people who go on to score 99 plus in real CAT score in their mock? I'm sure they have seen a few 99 plus scores, but I'm also sure that they've seen quite a few scores in 70s and 80s, at least many of them. Some find this easy from the word go. They don't find this exam to be super tough. This exam is geared for them. Tiny, teeny, weeny minority. And so leave them aside. But several others have a volatile journey, 99. What to do after a surprisingly bad mock score? This is Sahil Kandari. Big deal. So if you're the sports watching kind, watch some nice videos on YouTube. If a particular TV series is appealing to you, do that. Sometimes you stress eat, you have an ice cream, wash this off. You forget about it. It's a mock. If it's a real CAT, that's bitterly disappointing. It's a mock, big deal. Mock scores are for getting beaten up. Write it somewhere. Mock CATs are for getting beaten up. Write it in big, hard, bold letters in a chart and stick it right next to where you're sitting and taking your mock. They are for getting beaten up. You want to get beaten up in the mock several times in order to reduce the chances of getting beaten up in the real deal. Don't sweat mock scores too much. How to analyze VRC in mocks and figure out the learning gaps. One beautiful thing about VRC, especially RC, is very often we read the passage, we get the gist of it. We read the question and then straight away 2 choices go out. Magically they go out. And then in between 2. Part of our brain feels that it is B, like gut instinct, inexplicable. And then it is not clear why it couldn't be C. But B and C both seem very close. And then it rushes in and says, mark B, mark C, doesn't matter, we don't know. Sometimes it will be one, sometimes it will be other. I'll mark B, that guy will say C. I'll mark C, that guy will say B. The game, by B, it is just luck. Mark something. Don't do that. Every single question has a unique answer. There is a reason why they have created that B so close, so likely to be right, with a catch which eliminates it. So look to find that. Don't shy away from resolving that. And then when you're reading, going through the solution, see that why it was not B but C. Figure that out. Appreciate that. Then your scores will go up. If you're not getting 95 plus in mocks, is it possible to get 99? Oh yeah, several people have got that. Several mock percentile scores are out of whack. Several mocks are too tough. And there are guys who have gamed the system. Guys who have taken CL mocks for 3 years. They just know how CL mocks behave. And therefore, they just go into autopilot and get 99. And they get beaten up in the exam. It's also one of the reasons why I say you should mix up your mock providers. You should say, okay, I'm going to not take all my mocks from the same provider. I'm going to take from some very good provider, who I am, and then one more from somewhere. And so therefore you get a different flavor, 2 different flavors minimum. Devdutt, I have already answered that question, my friend. Chetan, again, we've discussed that, Chetan. Mocks, I can't score above 90%. Any particular advice? This is Sangeetka. If you, first stage is to pick the topic that are in your sweet spot. Then you have to find topic that you just don't like. Your scores are 70 and you want to go to 91, 92. You should say, look, I'm going to do everything from percentages, everything from ratios, everything from mixtures, everything from simple arithmetic topic. And I like geometry, triangles, and I like permutation, combination, but not probability. So I'm going to narrow it down. Maybe not even this many topics. Hit my sweet spots, get them right. I'm going to take 2 passages, get everything right. Get 1 mock where you have confidence that most of what you've answered is right. Then amp up from there. Nivedita Singh can't even answer easy quant question during marks, but after that I can. We've answered this question twice over. 2 reasons possible. One is that there is a certain fatigue that's coming in because quant is the 3rd section. Second is somewhere the belief is going away, so you're trying to do too quickly. Back yourself. You will find the right methods. Take a deep breath, refocus, and then have the belief to have a crack at it. Vineet Prajapati, I have completed several areas of syllabus, but it seems very hard to revise all I covered. Please consider my concern. Revision and coverage has to happen iterative. Don't finish 25 topics and then revise them. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, revise 1, 2, 3. Revise 6, 7, 8, revise 1, 2, 4, 5. Keep adding layers to how you are learning. Learning happens on a spiral. You read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, revisit 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 7, 8, 9, revisit 4, 5, 6. Keep revisiting. Don't say I'll finish everything and then revise. By the time you come to the revision part, it almost feels like the entire learning thing is useless. You don't remember anything. That happens to everybody. But I can bet my bottom dollar that your second round learning is quicker and better. Find that second round. How to improve performance in LRDA section? This is from Ayush and Sparshgalo. Question selection is super important. Knowing what the level is important. Hit a few previous year questions, go through the solutions in depth, it will fall in place. Have that belief. While attending a 3-hour mock, I'm getting 20 plus, but 2 hours mock, lots of pressures being created. I'm not able to go beyond 80. What would be the solution? This happens. This happens too. This happened last time during the exam for several of us. Transitioning from 3 hour to 2 hour is tough. Right? So the scores are going to be less than 2/3. One mistake in LRDI can tank your score. There's no recovery time. Couple of errors in reading a passage, there's no recovery time. Questions are, everything is amped up in a 2-hour thing. So it's going to be the phenomenon for everybody. Keep that in mind. Few more 2-hour mocks, it should be better. Titi Bhattacharya, can you suggest some good providers for mocks? Please subscribe to 2IM Test Tutorials, so I try something else as well. Else would be go to their almost every decent provider, one who's worth their salt, offers 1 free mock. Take that and then take a decision after that. Getting decent scores in QA and DLR, but miserably failing in VRC. What can I do? Read a lot. In mock, read slowly. Take effort to resolve the 1 and 2s. And keep the faith. What should be the preparation strategy for DILR? This is Kashish Alvina. Previous year CAT papers are super important component of preparing for LRDI. Having variety in solutions is important. Going through solutions in depth is again important. VRC section is very bad. What can I do? Sachin Sharma. Read away to glory. Keep the faith. Read slowly during exam. What should be the average time to complete 1 RC set? Well, the rough timeline works like this. But generally, VRC is not have that much time pressure. 34 questions for 1 hour. 24 come from VRC. The remaining 10 can be done in about 17-18 minutes. I'm going to skip 1 or 2. Not worry too much about the data. We have 40 minutes for 6 passages. If you do 5 passages, you're on a rock star trajectory. So you're thinking about 8 minutes per passage. That means 5 minutes for reading and then 3 minutes for processing and answering questions. Tough, but this is the speed I'm saying for a 99.7, 99.8 percentile score. Aditya Jain, for the iterative revision, do mocks serve the purpose of revision? Yes, they do. Mocks help you identify the gaps and help you consolidate ideas, both. When is it a good time to go for previous year question paper? After how many mocks? I would say, hey, there's a good chance of you should take 1 or 2 straight away. So many previous year mocks, 1 or 2 straight away, and hold back a few for later on. Should chase them out. Probably 9 previous year mocks available. You take 1 or 2 now, 1 or 2 every month. You're covered. Is there a CAT 21 crash course available at 2 AM including daily plan? Yes, my friend. Top, fantastic daily plan, and it's a fabulous course. Just check out the website or give us a ping. Chetan Polkar, how to manage job and CAT and my quant is weak? Tough. You have to find the motivation from somewhere, bandwidth from somewhere, or have some discipline in your schedule. You're going to do either early morning or late evening for sure. Your weekends are done. Don't plan anything for the weekends for the next 18 weekends. It is very much possible. If you're ambitious, you're saying, I want this. There's no negotiating after that. And to find the time from somewhere. During the exam, should we usually keep in mind how much minimum questions? No, you should have a ballpark target and you should be able to modify it in the exam. You can attempt the maximum number of questions you can attempt. You cannot say I will always attempt 24 in VRC, 26 in quant and 19 in LRDA. It doesn't work like that. If you start doing that, then you start chasing attempts. Anybody can attempt any number of questions. You want to attempt 26 in LRDA, you can attempt. You attempt till 57th minute. In the last 3 minutes, guess till whatever number you want to. So this is the worst case scenario. But what happens when you have a number in mind is you keep on chasing that. And then you do that much quicker at each step. Your error rate goes out of whack. Chasing a score is the worst thing you can do. Chasing a number of attempts is the worst thing you can do in a mock, in an exam. I've done that in CAT. Those have been my worst CAT performances. Algebra and geometry is weakest. Arithmetic is the most important. If your algebra is crucial but not that crucial. Megnila, while giving a mock, I'm not able to solve more than 5 or 6 sums in the quant section, but in solving the paper, we've covered this 3-4 times. Just have a look. Being an engineer, my ego stops from leaving a lengthy question. Any advice? Dude, you found out the problem. 90% of the issue. You found out that it's your ego that's stopping you. Put a hard stop on it. Large question, I'm not even touching. I won't even read the question. Stop yourself short there. Pratyush Sinha, my mock scores are 20-25 marks lower than my potential score. What to do? It'll get bridged automatically. There is also every chance that there will be no mock performance. There will be peak performance. Sometimes I've had wonderful mock, wonderful CAT itself. And the first instinct I feel after I come out, I'm like, I could have done that question in quant. I missed this LRDA section by this much. And that passage I know I read quickly, that's where my errors are likely to come from. So I could easily get 6 more marks in VRC, 6 more in LRDA and 9 more in quant. I missed by 21 marks. That's such a big deal. Every time. So it always feels like that. You're never going to have a super optimal performance. But that gap is going to be there. I have to start with arithmetic. How can I master arithmetic within a month? This is BDB HR. You don't need to master it, my friend. Get comfortable with it. Then build on it. Pick up simple topics, learn them, consolidate them, practice them. A month is enough to get somewhere. Start moving. Then it can get better. Sivabalaji, I'm getting good marks in sectional DLR test, but crumbling during mocks. What can I do? Don't take sectional DA. Sectional thing is like going for a cricket match and only batting. कोई भी कर सकता है. Sectional marks are useless. The pressure, the intensity, the need for stamina, the idea of mixing it up, those are the variables for which you take marks. Sectional marks. Sectionals are Bakwas. Don't do sectional things. Best sources for DLR other than previous year questions and mock. I am Question Bank, my friend. It's free and it's brilliant. I've been able to get my hold on RC but failing miserably in para jumbles. Check para jumbles. Theta. Don't worry about that. The elephant in the room is RC. Should I revise the QA topics just before taking them off? Not necessarily. You shouldn't need to revise. You shouldn't be like, okay, ek baar profit and loss ka formula dekh leta hu. You should know it. Like this famous statement which I think Dhoni said. He had to go and he had his exam and 2 days before that there was a practice match. Then he went and asked his father, "मैं match के लिए जाऊँ क्या?" Surprisingly, his dad said, "Yeah." And then he asked him, "How come you said this?" I said, if you've already prepared, then going now should be all right. If you have not prepared, then you're in such a bad situation that this won't matter. So you shouldn't have to prepare for quant in the last second. Selecting the right sets in DILR, Ziptroid, that's there as a separate video. Check that out. Due to time pressure, I miscalculate. Take stock, refocus, take a deep breath, look outside, move your hands, and say, look, I'm not making this mistake. Make it a conscious effort. Ashwin Balakrishnan, very weak in quant and LRDI. Will 4 hours daily prep help? Definitely. Do that 4 hours intensely, not with the WhatsApp chat window to open. None of that nonsense. So whatever time you are throwing, full concentration time, it will move. But this laid back, half-cocked thing is useless. Gopal Krishna, I want to join your class, sir. What is procedure and price? Please ping us, Gopal Krishna. I think you can reach us on one of our phone numbers or go to our website, sign up as a trial user. We'll give you a schedule. There's plenty of places to reach us from. For spending more time in reading and solving RC, should I practice RCs just before? Doing something just before the CAT. The flip side of that is 3 hours is long. You're saying to warm up for it, I'm going to do 1 more hour of intense thing. Counterproductive. So the fast bowlers, they take rest. They're in the middle of a beautiful test match. There is lunch. They come, gobble up and switch off for 20 minutes before going. Sachin Tendulkar, when he was waiting his pads on, he apparently moved everybody out of this dining table and slept. He knows he can switch on. He wants the rest. So you don't waste your energy with some of these things. Saurav Gurjar, I can't score more than 35 even if I study for 10 hours a day. What can I do? Of course, there is one thing that is a guarantee in this life, is if you put in the effort, there will be some payoff. It might not be the payoff, it might not be a super sweet spot, it might not be a magical thing, it might not be a palace. But if you consistently put effort, there will be some good payoff. So have that faith. My score ranges from 50 to 60. Can I improve and get a 99 percentile in 4 months? Sharan Sridhar, definitely. Scores now are not an indicator. They can go places if you prepare well. Pankaj Kesing, 5-year work, is there any chance in CAT? Why not, my friend? Unless you call yourself an old fellow, you should tell yourself, ye bacche hain 22 years, why can I not compete with them? They have no advantage over me. If I can go toe to toe with them, I'm richer for this experience. I can go and give them a run for their money. I'll come up with a better score. Let me see how these guys beat me. You want evidence for somebody doing it? I go there. I tell myself, these 25-year-olds, why should they be better than me? No need to. Srinam Jha, I finished the syllabus but can't score well in QA. Revise, take mocks, find the gaps, fill the gaps. Revise, practice. So it is iterative. It is not in one straight line. CAT prep, words of motivation for someone who is going through a burnout phase. Probably not the best guy for this. If you feel you're burning out, this happens very frequently. You're living, breathing CAT throughout. Take a 3-day break, 1.5-day break, a 4-day break, a 1-week break if you must. Switch off from CAT, go for a jog, play football, watch a movie, binge watch a series, eat good food, exercise, drink water, do other things. de-emphasize the exam and amp up what you're learning during the process. Tell yourself, look, I'm going to be better at quant. I'm going to be good at reading. I'm going to solve a bunch of puzzles. What's not to like? A cat I बाद में देख लेते हैं. Let me enjoy my preparation. And if that is not happening, let me take a break. I'll take 5 days off. I'll take 4 days off, and then come back. Some sports persons have done it. Michael Jordan took a 2-year break at the peak of his NBA career. He was one of the all-time greats. He took 2 years off and then came back and won a bunch of titles. It happens. Which section do you think is generally the deciding factor in CAT percentile? It varies on the weightage. The balance is more or less even. LRDI has been unusually tough in the last 3-4 years. Wonderful. I think we've pretty much covered all the relevant bits. So I'm going to sign off now. Wonderful talking to you guys. Hang in there. Prepare hard. My gut feel for this year is that there are probably going to be slightly fewer serious participants, the serious aspirants. I can see that from several dashboards and what all of us are seeing, because there are so many other pressures that are there in our own lives. So those pressures have been sent from some other variables. There's several people who don't have the luxury of attending a YouTube session and preparing for the exam. So feel glad, feel privileged to that extent, so that you are still having a crack at this exam. Don't put too much stress on the outcome of this one exam. It's not worth it. Write CAT, XAT, Nonmath, Snap. Give yourself more chances. Prepare super intensely. Tell yourself that this is not the only driver for your success factor in your life. It's not. Nobody can determine a success or failure based on a 3-hour objective multiple choice exam. नहीं हो सकता. Doesn't happen. They cannot even determine your corporate success. Great many brilliant entrepreneurs are non-MBAs. They have a business idea, they see it through to completion. Why do they need an MBA? And so it is not a super crucial exam. It is not. It is a fun exam to prepare for. It's a beautiful exam to write. It's a thrilling ride to sign up for. It builds character, it builds temperamental strength, it builds your IQ. Take my word for it. I've seen several students prepare for this exam. If the guys who prepare well for it, they go into CAT feeling good about the fact that they threw 5 months into preparing really well for an exam. And therefore, the result doesn't carry that much weightage as it should. That's a brilliant way to reducing the stress of exam taking. So the end results and outcome and percentiles matter, but the ride you're signing up for is super important. So rephrase your equation like that. I'm going to prepare, I'm going to throw everything into it. Let the cards fall where they fall. It's super important. Wonderful, folks. I had a lot of fun. It's been a while since we did this. I quite enjoyed myself in doing through the prepared part and then answering the questions. This is nice. YouTube is a wonderful interface to shoot the breeze and chat. So many thanks for dropping in. Definitely do subscribe to the channel. Hit like on this video. Follow us. Spread the word about us. We do some fantastic work. You go through our website, you'll know that every bit of what we say is true. We have several platforms for you to check us out. We have 1,500 plus videos, almost 2,000 videos on YouTube. We have a question bank that has nearly 2,000 questions, all free, without even sign up. So go through that. Every section in our course inside the platform, there is tons of stuff to validate and check out. We take 5 live classes a week. We love teaching. We are there in every step of the journey with our students. So check us out. And those of you who have already checked us out, who already know we are good, please spread the word. And so we're fighting a battle to get more people to know us. I hate it when people tell me that, I found I am too late. You guys are brilliant, but by then I had joined up with some other course and I couldn't come. Like, what's happening to our marketing department? Our marketing department, a big part of our marketing department is you guys. And please spread the word. Please tell people that, hey, check out the course. Not vouching for it, but if you spend half an hour going to the platform and checking it out, that is half an hour well spent. So please spread the word, ask people to check the course out. The course speaks for itself. I'm very confident. I'm not worried about the course at all. The live class or the recorded class or the discussion board or the WhatsApp group or doubt clarification, every single element, I'm super confident. I have a bunch of guys who are fantastic, super clued in, who super in tune, answering questions and clarifying doubts and teaching. We have a super team. So that I'm not worried at all. But I'm some peeved that every year some N people come and tell me that I found you guys only in August. Like the first 7 months were you sleeping? You should have found us. I'm not saying that. It is our job to make sure that people find us. So I'm just making a joke when I'm saying people should find us. We should reach out. We should make sure that our reaching out is better. A big part of it being better is you guys. So share the word. Tell people that, hey, there is this group of guys in this place who teach well, who have a lot of integrity to the way they operate. They always work with a smile on their face. You should check them out. Push them to check it out. I don't care whether they buy or not. If they check it out, I'm thrilled. Right? Lovely folks. I quite enjoyed myself, as I said. Beautiful session. It's been a while since we did this. From now on, we'll amp it up. I won't say we're in the last lap, but we're getting there. Last lap was October afterwards. From now on, we'll amp it up. We'll do quite a bunch of sessions across platforms. Right? Super fun having you all and chatting with you. Maybe in another 2 weeks, we'll be discussing something else and we'll be having a chat. So have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. And those of you who have not taken a mock so far, write it down somewhere on here. Take a mock this weekend. Nothing else matters. Take a mock. Ciao.